That didn't sound good. Here's my wallet. Get my wallet. Nope. Just gonna hang out here for a second.
What's up, Brite Nation?
My pride is destroyed, damaged, hurt.
As it should be. The day has finally come. It's the inevitable day, because let's be honest, Kevin has been wheeling the Stepchild
Since 2018.
what is that? God,
7
years. We've had the Stepchild for 7 years. And in those 7 years, we've done some of the gnarliest trails, some of the stupidest things. And Kevin has beat the ever-living shit out of this Jeep. Mm-hmm. But the day has finally come that we knew would happen. We just didn't know when or how.
What day, Brittany?
Kevin finally rolled the Stepchild.
I did.
And I don't mean just like he wha-bam, wha-bam. He rolled the Stepchild, although there's an argument there because he ended up on his lid. Kevin says it's technically not a rollover unless it's a full 360. I disagree. He rolled the Stepchild. But here's the thing. It also was my absolute worst fear. And not because he was hurt. I guess, okay, it was my absolute second worst fear because he obviously very clearly...
I'm okay.
He's fine.
You can't see my heart and my pride right now.
Yeah, his pride and his ego might be a little damaged, but as far as he physically goes, he's fine.
I'm physically okay.
So second worst fear, though, it happened while I wasn't there. I was at home because Kevin said he was just going to go out with Marlon.
Yeah, great idea.
Not Luna and Marlon, just Marlon.
Yeah,
so just
Marlon.
Kevin and Marlon, unsupervised.
Just to have a boys' day, no filming.
Just a couple of boys, you said that word perfectly, just a couple of boys completely unsupervised out on... We're just going to go do an easy trail.
It's a 7.
Triple sevens. We're not on triple sevens right now,
we
Kevin.
Did triple jointed. That's triple sevens.
Triple sevens crosses over to joint effort, which is a 9. But honestly, even that doesn't matter. Why did you roll, Kevin?
Because my beautiful wife wasn't there to help me and spot me and make sure I was safe.
Nothing on his phone. You're so dumb, but that was priceless. No, why did you roll? Like, for real, why did you roll?
Okay, for real, why I rolled is because we were just out playing around and not doing anything hard and not filming, and I was just being chill. Like, I was just lax. We were just bebopping through the obstacles that I've done 100 times. So I was paying attention, but I wasn't I wasn't hyper vigilant. Like, we were doing hard stuff and I'm making sure I'm paying attention to everything. We were just like, bump it over this, crawl it over that, and then...
Ultimately, he wasn't really paying attention like he normally would when he's doing, difficult stuff or even moderately challenging stuff. Or honestly, like you should be doing on any trail at any point ever, even the easy stuff, because sometimes it happens.
Honestly, when I told some of my friends, they're like, honestly, half of them had all rolled by just parking next to a ledge and being too close, and then the Jeep just falling off the ledge.
You know how most people get in a car accident when they're only 10, 15 miles from their house? It's usually because when you're 10, 15 miles from your house, you're in your comfort zone.
Probably 5
You're
minutes.
not really, either way, you're not paying much attention, and that's when the accidents really happen. And that is exactly what happened in this situation. Unfortunately, the rollover itself, like Kevin said, was not filmed because they were just beep-bopping around and no one was there to spot or film anything that was going on. However, the aftermath was. But before we show you...
As I was rolling over, I literally hit record on my phone.
So before we show you all of that footage, though, we're going to have Kevin reenact kind of what happened and how the rollover happened. And then we'll get to what was actually filmed, recovering the Jeep, the damage, and all of that.
Sure. Let's get to it. All right, so we'll just set the stage. Super nice day. Cruising, bebopping around, and generally this obstacle is a big wall and there's holes and you kind of just come up and you just roll through it and drive right up it.
Super easy.
You just kind of drive right up. But today, we decided to take a little detour, and I came over this way and put the tire here and climbed the passenger tire up this, and it came all the way up to here, and it was up here. Passenger tire was up here, rear tire was down there, and I was stuck, and I was kind of bellied out and working it. Well, I started going passenger, it started grabbing, it was great. The rear tire got up to about here, and for some reason fell, and I fell, and it came into here, and it pitched me, and I was like, whoa! So I hit reverse, and I was like, whoopah! And I backed up, because originally I was this way, but now I'm this way, and as I backed up, I came back, and I hit the brakes, but I dropped off this, and it was too late. And the left rear tire hit this, and was like, bah!
Smacked it, whoop-ah! Drop down, snap, bah!
And then it just tipped over. So So I rolled back through this, and you can see it right in here. My tire came up. It came up, my driver rear tire came up here and just kept
Pretty sure
rolling
that's
up.
your tire mark right there. So essentially, as he climbed, he pitched that way and hit reverse, which was fine when he got down to here.
Because originally I was here, and so if I backed up,
He would have been fine. He would have backed right down. But
when the tire climbed and I pitched and the tire dropped, I am now facing like this.
And he completely forgot that this rock existed. So as he just
up.
rolled back, his driver rear tire went boof, climbed that, and just fucking flipped him that way.
Came way up. The passenger tire's down here, and it just literally paused, and I stopped and I was on 2 tires.
But you can't keep going. You couldn't keep going reverse.
Well, normally you would.
That would have pitched you.
Normally we reverse out of it, but this keeps going. Like if I'm here and it's done over here.
And driver, honestly, reverse or driver. At that point, reverse or driver, either one might have screwed you.
Speed would have flipped me harder. I would have done more damage. So I'm on 2 tires, and I'm like, oh no. And then it literally crunched on its side, and I was like, oh, that's not that bad. But it's a hole over here. If you look, I landed upside down here, and then this is a hole. So then the Jeep went, and I was upside down.
And it was at this point that Kevin started recording from inside the Jeep.
Fuck, I just rolled the Jeep. I was doing nothing. Literally, the rock slid out from under me. Fuck. Oh, Brittany's gonna kill me.
So my phone's mounted in the holder up on the dash, and as I was rolling over, I was like, I better record this. And that's the clip you just saw. Then I stopped recording, and I was like, oh no, I should call Brittany. So I literally
proceeds to FaceTime me.
I FaceTime Brittany.
While he's upside down.
Yeah, so I FaceTime her, and I'm like, babe, I rolled the Jeep, I'm upside down. And she's like, what'd you say? You're like, you gotta be kidding me.
I was
You're
like,
no,
are you
didn't.
I said, are you kidding me? And he goes, no.
I was like, no,
I'm
look,
upside
I'm
down
upside down. And
right now.
She just
and I go,
hung up on me.
Boop. And I
I'm
hung up on him.
She didn't ask if I was okay.
Hold on. You were clearly f***ing okay. You were clearly okay. I had already, in the 10, 15 seconds of the phone call by that point, he wasn't screaming. He wasn't bleeding. He was fine. He was moving. He was just
you couldn't feel my pride or my ego.
I'm not concerned about your pride or your ego at that point. So at that point, yes, I did. I hung up on him because I tell you, when I say second biggest fear, every time he goes out without me, and I've said this on camera a million times, the one time he rolls, it's going to be when I'm not there, and I'm definitely not there to film it. And it's not going to be caught on camera.
So you could be right one time, because you're not ever right about anything.
He calls me back, and I just
she wouldn't answer.
No, I did. I answered, and I just said, I don't want to hear about it. Is Marlon recovering you? And he said, yeah. And I said, cool. Boop. Hung up on him again. I was just like
recording, and then that's me. This is the next clip is me
after I'd hung up on him twice, and he
rolling over.
Yeah.
I was perfectly fine. I was literally, it was starting to go up, and the rear tire literally just slipped. I backed all the way off, flattened out, and then there was a rock behind me that threw the Jeep over. Oh my goodness. Which way can you winch me over?
This way.
All right.
We have to move fast.
Yeah. I fell, I came off the wall fine.
Yeah.
Like I came completely flat, and there was a rock behind me, I guess.
You have a salt charcoal in your hand, like fast.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't hit nothing. I got my seatbelt on. It's literally just...
No, but we need to move.
I'm trying right now, man. Like, it was super soft. Like, I don't...
Yeah, but the engine, that's not...
Yeah, I know.
So we need to move.
I know. Brittany's gonna kill me. I wasn't even doing anything. I was literally flat. Jesus Christ. Like, you said go, I turned, the back end came up, and then it started to slip. So I reversed down. I was all the way flat, and then the back tire hit a rock.
Now, I have to say at this point, I have to commend Marlon, who generally's biggest priority would be to pull out his phone and start filming. In this case, he did do that, but he pulled out his phone and started filming after he had already hooked up the Stepchild and started winching. His priority was getting Kevin back over onto all 4 tires, and I am so thankful for that. At the end of the day, Kevin was probably on his lid for less than 3 minutes, which is not just good for the Stepchild and good for my husband, but definitely good for the Hemi under that hood. Marlon reacted very quickly, and he did in the meantime also manage to catch some of the recovery itself, which is fantastic, because that's the only footage and proof we have that this was ever, well, and the damage, that it was ever on its lid.
So I shut it off instantly. I've got it in park. I've got my feet on the brake. The stock seatbelt's holding me in. I'm not even hitting my head on the roof, which is pretty nice. That didn't sound good. There's my wallet. Let me get my wallet. Nope. Just gonna hang out here for a second. That's the rock that flipped me?
I don't know.
That's the rock that flipped me?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I came off of this and then the rock back here.
So as far as damage goes, I mean, it's a rollover. Or it's not a rollover, it's a flop.
It's a rollover.
It's a rollover. I came and the first crunch was right in here. You can see part of the mirror still here.
The side mirror.
The side mirror crunched here, and I thought it was gonna stop, but it kept going, and it rolled all the way over, and you can see the hood hit here.
That's
the
paint
paint
from our
the
hood.
And this is paint from, I would say, the windshield frame above the windshield. And so that's where I laid. This is where I lay, upside down. Well, this was dumb. I was on this obstacle and I went to back down, and as I backed down, my tire just hit this wall and dumped me over. Like, that was the stupidest rollover ever. I was literally backing up. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Oh, Brittany's gonna kill me. Yeah, so I literally climbed, backing up. I didn't see that wall. I just backed up. The tire climbed it, and I instantly dumped it over.
Oh, look. That's maybe why you couldn't.
Wallet. So
Oh,
I need a new.
shit. Yeah, this door is gone.
Yeah. Problem is getting that door painted. Brittany's never gonna talk to me again. Yeah, that was pretty silly. Yeah, I was just up here and I went to back down, and literally the left rear tire just climbed that wall. I was up here, it was mostly up here, and I just started backing down, and that tire climbed the wall and just literally dumped it over. And trying to go forward didn't work because it climbed there, so it like, oop, I don't really know.
And we have done this obstacle like 70.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the obstacle, it was me backing up the obstacle. This is an easy trail. I just literally was just driving, went to go back up, and like, bloop, I felt it go up, and I went to go back into drive, and it was already too late. Like, I don't even know. I just didn't think it was a huge deal. Like, I was just backing up. It wasn't anything. The windshield frame's fine, so it needs a best top and it needs a door. The door part's the sucky part. It's trying to paint, like, oh, it crushed the hood too. I'd probably just leave that though. Yeah, I kind of got the hood right there too. Although I can leave that. As long as the hood opens and closes, I can leave it like that.
That's right.
But it's literally not much. So the next venture fenders held up pretty good. I mean, they took a pretty hard hit the whole way to the Jeep onto these rocks. And yeah, I mean, you know, they're aluminum. They moved a little bit. They got some little wavy. It came down in this corner, so it did pull it away from the body just a tiny bit. That's honestly, you can't even tell. If I was to paint that black again, you can't even tell. The front came down on the fenders hard, hit like everything. This took a hard hit, and it moved this in just a tiny bit, so we can probably straighten that out. But for these fenders to take the whole weight of the Jeep and kind of barely just crinkle a little bit, the hood wasn't so happy. But yeah, if this was sand instead of a big rock that I landed on, that'd have been nice. That was just dumb. The windshield held up pretty good. Didn't even crack the windshield, but it did get the frame a little bit, but that's not even, like, wouldn't even be concerned about that. Somehow did not break the windshield. The loudest crunch was just the mirror and the door. And honestly, the door got so bad because the mirror pushed in so hard, it messed up the door. The door wouldn't even be really messed up if it wasn't for the damn mirror, to be honest. That's pretty crazy. Well, except for this. Let's not worry about that guy. So yeah, unfortunately we need a door and a new top. But the cage held up. The sport cage probably helped some as well, I'd say. Just a silly mistake. That's all it takes. We were just out enjoying. I wasn't really we weren't doing anything crazy. This is just a normal drive wall. I just backed up and whoops. So we don't want to start it because I was upside down, and it's still at an angle. It's decently flat enough, like all the oil would be coming this way. But what our goal is right now is Marlon's gonna get set up, and I'm still on that rock. I just backed up too quick and went up the rock and dumped it. We're gonna go to the wheel and winch the wheel over and bring the Jeep off of this rock, so I'll be up against that rock instead of on top of it, and that'll get me nice and flat. So literally when I backed up, I just literally backed up, it ramped up this rock, got to the top of it, and that was in a hole, and it basically just dumped me over. I was in reverse thinking I could still reverse. I just honestly didn't pay attention that this rock was here. And if I would have gone forward, actually I think I did end up going forward, because I think I was all the way up here. I started going forward, but when my tire hit that wall, one was high, the other was high, and it dumped me over. Just super silly. But I instantly shut it off.
Now I will say, as far as damage goes, when you're considering a full rollover, it could have been a lot worse. It honestly was not, don't get me wrong, it's bad. Kevin's like, it's fine. Kevin and I have different definitions of the word fine. However, could it have been worse? Absolutely.
So the windshield's not broken. The side door glass
Which is
isn't
honestly,
broken.
the windshield not being broken is
pretty crazy.
Wild.
So as you can see, the rock hit right here, barely missing the windshield. There's another hit here from when it rolled over, and there's actually another scuff on the other side.
We'll go show
it. So it took hits everywhere. And
we don't have a factory windshield though. If you guys remember, we have high performance glass.
Yeah.
You can see there's the logo right there. And we've had that for years, and I don't know if that played a role, but again, you can tell just from that. The fact that we didn't shatter the windshield is pretty, and I say the fact that Kevin didn't shatter the windshield is pretty insane. So you can see here when he rolled on his lid where it actually hit the driver's side A-pillar as well. And if you look really closely, you can actually see if it'll, there you go. You can see a chip in the windshield, the very edge of the windshield too, which is from the rollover as well.
I think that's just from a rock flying up into it.
I don't know, whatever it is. Either way, the fact that this windshield is in one piece without a single crack in it is pretty insane.
Now, I showed you on the rock where the hood hit.
You can see the paint again, right there.
Now, this is the damage. I didn't notice for like a day or two that it actually broke the headlight bracket. So the headlight's not sitting out here.
Kind of see, there you
where
go.
It needs to be. It broke a bracket up here and down there, but I'll fix that. I don't think I need a new headlight.
Ultimately, this is just 100% cosmetic.
Yeah,
this is the only.
Look, it still opens on latches.
Yeah, the hood still works, latches, everything. Like it's really just a cosmetic situation as far as right here goes. This we probably will have to replace, but for now it's in there and it's not going anywhere, so it's still fully functional, and that really wasn't a big concern.
I'll plastic weld it. As you saw though, the door took most of the damage. So up top, it kind of crushed it and baconed it. The mirror did the most amount of damage. It actually shoved through the door and tore the door here and up top through the top of the frame.
You kind of see in there.
Yeah. But it didn't break the glass, which is crazy.
Pretty insane.
And I couldn't get the door open for a minute, and it's because it had punched the mirror bolt through the side of the dash. And so the mirror bolt was literally just like stuck in here.
And wouldn't let him open the door.
It wouldn't let me open the door, so I finally ripped it open when I noticed that. I mean, it's literally flush. It's flush.
Once he did figure out the bolt thing and he got it open, the door opens and shuts.
But you can tell it looks better because when Marla and I got back to the house, we promptly started working on it. We didn't really film it, but we took pry bars. We were prying on stuff. The window wouldn't go up or down, so we pried this out. We actually took a hydraulic jack here and into the frame, and like literally while it was shut, and jacked it up to get this here. We pried everywhere, and each time the window would go up another inch and another inch, and we just kept going until the window went all the way up, and now it goes down to about here. I don't know what's stopping it inside, but it does go all the way up. So we still have door glass. And then I bought a mirror off of Amazon. It had it the next day.
It's like a Chinese mirror.
Yeah, Brittany and I pried on it some more and ended up getting the mirror in it.
Rotate it more. It almost looked like he had it.
I know.
I think that's it.
Hold it there.
I'm holding it.
Well, the holes are really far away. That one's cross-threaded. This one's good. But
just cross-threaded in. One and only time you'll ever probably hear me tell you that.
see how much of an angle it's going to?
Yeah, it's just gonna be what it is. I mean,
You want to try rotate?
the door's not exactly straight.
I guess I don't need the third one. I mean, it's in there. I probably need to get a drill because this one's like really cross-threaded. This is hilarious. You know what?
I feel like you and I have different definitions of hilarious, but
Did we check the mirror to make sure the mirror worked? Or does it not really matter?
yeah, I don't think it matters.
Let's see if it... Why is it not happy? No. Did I mess it up? Oh, I wonder if it's gonna be able to... Yeah, it should go out far enough. Hi. Hi, guys. How are you? Look at that. Windows up, mirrors on, door opens and closes. No windshield broken, no side glass broken after a full, complete rollover. So Brittany's calling it.
Your tires ended up in the air. It's a rollover.
Yeah. I was an upside down turtle. So now I have a side mirror. The door opens and closes. The window's great. The only bad thing is that the best top did take a crunch and it broke the side railing and it bent the bows up top. So there's a lot of, this isn't secured here. It's there, but it still latches.
You can see where this hit the rock too, obviously. So like, again, the windshield not being broken, still pretty insane, but it's still shut. It still latches. Like the best top is still physically there.
Yeah. And what's really cool is you can see there's a hit, like it took hit here. I think my sport cage kept the factory cage from like collapsing in. So this little overhead sport cage, I think actually saved it.
Did what it was supposed to do. But yeah, you can see bless you. You can see, bless you.
One more. No, I'm done.
You can see where this definitely took a hit. But we've got spare parts coming from Best Top, so we can just replace this side. And that's something that's super cool is they have replaceable parts. So obviously we don't have to replace the entire thing. It's super easy to just replace this railing and stuff here, which we'll be doing
railing,
soon.
The top, and then they're going to send me a side window as well. Or,
says to take, I mean, it's not much,
here,
but on the back side.
Here.
There's got a few tears in there though. But ta-da! Just like that. So like I said, it is actually super easy to get spare parts from Best Top. So if you damage your soft top, say you hit a tree or you roll over your Jeep, it's really easy to just replace certain components versus having to uninstall and reinstall a whole new top, not to mention a lot less expensive this way. So we'll be getting these on the Stepchild hopefully soon as well. Probably not before Easter Jeep Safari. Kind of also so that anyone who's at Easter Jeep Safari, because we will be there with the Stepchild, you can all see her in all of her damaged glory. But this will go on the Stepchild soon as well. So the soft top will be essentially just like new. But honestly, other than possibly, I'd say the sports cage, which definitely I think helped in a lot of situations with the A-pillars being hit so hard and this being hit so hard. The biggest MVPs of this entire rollover,
the Next Venture Motorsports flares, because I came down and this all hit the rock. The rear did, and the front.
You can see the front.
They're a little bacony, but like they're still perfect shape.
This is the rear, and then the front.
That's been here, but this one took a pretty good hit. And there's actually, where's the reinforcement? There's a reinforcement here, but there's nothing over here.
And if you can tell, like obviously the only reason that this part of the door was damaged at all is because of the mirror smashing in and collapsing into the door itself.
Yeah.
If the mirror hadn't have done that, none of this damage on the door would have happened. These fender flares kept the entire side of the Jeep off the ground.
Yeah, the weight was on the flares, and I thought these were going to be mushed in, and like the inner fender and stuff was going to be all pushed. But look at the hood gap is still great. The hood opens and closes. So these didn't do any internal damage. They actually, I think, moved a little bit, but didn't transfer a lot of energy. But
for the entire weight of a 6,000 pound Jeep rolling onto them, that's wildly insane. And they still work. Like the lights and everything still function fine. And as you can see, where they might have caved just a teensy. They're a little bacony, but that's an incredible hit for those things to withstand.
Yep.
So Next Venture Motorsports fender flares, they're aluminum highline fender flares, absolutely insane. Now what's even crazier
is that once we flipped the Jeep over and gave it about 20 minutes, I was reluctant to start the Jeep because I've heard that Hemis, if you flip them upside down, that oil gets stuck in the intake manifold, and you can hydrolock it because a lot of oil goes into the motor. And these aren't a key where you can just bump it and turn it off. Once you hit that button, it wants to crank until you either hydrolock it or it starts. What I would recommend, which I told Marlon to do and he didn't do it, just hear me out for a second. I wanted to loosen up the battery cable, and I was going to hit the button, let it turn over, and then have him pull the cable off so it would pull the power so it didn't start. So like just as soon as he heard it turn, pull it off, and then do it a couple times just to see. But you didn't do that. But we didn't do it because I was like, oh, I'm just going to hit the button again to shut it off. It didn't. I hit the button, and I hit it again. It wouldn't, and it was already running, and it wasn't knocking. Yeah, so it did smoke for a while, and it didn't knock, and we just cleared it out, and then we went wheeling.
The crazy part
is that we
the even crazier part is that they just continued to wheel and finish the trail. I'd already flopped it, and you know what they say, like if you fall off your bike, you got to get back on. You can't just like tuck your tail and go home and be like, oh no. So honestly, at that point,
I went back up the
tucking your tail and going home would have been more detrimental to your health than had you would have been there. I still needed a few hours to cool down at that point.
So we went wheeling for a few hours. We found some harder obstacles that we've never seen before, and we did even harder stuff.
But yeah, they kept wheeling.
As soon as I went over though, I instantly shut it off. I put it in park, and luckily I had my seatbelt on, so the stock seatbelt held me in my place. You can see me hanging upside down. Held me in my place. I didn't hit nothing. I didn't put my hands up. I just kept my hands on the steering wheel as I went over. Went upside down, was waiting for it to stop, but I already had everything shut off already. So we're gonna winch it, get it flat, and just hang out here for a little while, because if there is any oil in the engine, you can hydrolock it and mess up the motor. You can bend a rod. You can do some damage. So I'm hoping this will work out. I don't like the push start button because when you push it and it starts to crank over, you can't just stop it. It keeps wanting to crank. I don't know how to, Marley, if I push the button, I'm trying to think. If I push the button, I let go of the brake, will it keep cranking? Yeah, it does keep cranking. So what if we undid the battery? What if we undo the battery and I'll push the button and then you let go of the battery to kill the starter? Should I air up the tire? Should we air up the tire to like 30? Yeah, let me air up the tire. Okay, so I'm gonna air up the tire so it's not aired down so low, so hopefully skip across this a little bit better, because the rocks here are pretty grippy. We even wet the ground a little bit to give it some less traction. So I'm gonna air up to like 30, 35, and Marlon wants to be really close to try to lift up, which I guess makes sense, but I don't like him being so close. He wants to be right here so it's lifting up on the wheel and lifting up on the axle to hopefully let it scooch a little easier, but then he's like right here. He's like kind of close. I don't really like that, but we'll see what happens. And when this comes off over here, it might hit the bumper on the rock or whatever, but whatever.
Because if I go back there, it's going to hold you down to the rock.
Yeah, I mean it's going. Yeah, it's going. Yeah, airing up was a good idea for sure. Yep. Well, nice and slow. I would back up now. Let it go. Yep, and back up. Yeah, you're good. If you go slow enough, it should just walk itself slowly down the wall. That tire actually should hit the outcropping on that rock. Should just settle right there. Yep, nice and slow. Yep.
Ooh, that was close.
Well,
at least we tested the wheels. The wheels work.
yeah, we went through the Baja wheels, pulled the Jeep off of there. Yeah, I had no doubt about that. Those things are damn strong.
Back up just a little bit. We're fine. We came to test if my Jeep was smoking, and look who's smoking now.
Yeah, I'm smoking instead.
Hey, what's going on here, Kevin? Why are you smoking?
So we let it sit for about a half an hour, fired right up, and no knocking. It is smoking, so it's definitely got oil places. So we're gonna let it run for a while and let it burn off the oil. Hopefully it won't foul any plugs or anything, but that could have been much worse for sure. For my first roll. It was just so silly. Very, very silly. So one's gonna go up this. I don't know about that. I don't think I'd even try it. The breakover angle up there is pretty gnarly. He's got that new reverse thing that he likes using. No. I don't know how that left rear is gonna climb that wall. Oh, he's starting to smoke. You're starting to smoke. Turn left. Turn left and back up. Right there, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you'd actually get up that. Where'd you go, Marlon? Where'd you go? Oh, there he is. Put a new motor in that thing.
He was saying low oil pressure. I guess because all the oil was like.
Yeah. Well, it's all in your motor.
Yeah, but that was extreme.
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah. That was sick.
Marlon's just doing Marlon things over here. Much of a bypass. Now that we're back here at the scene of the rollover, I think I've convinced Brittany to let me go up it since she can actually spot me up it.
He hasn't convinced me to do anything. He just said, well, I might as well try for a redemption while I'm here and get it out of the way. And I just said, it doesn't matter what I said. Why would he listen to me anytime ever? So he's gonna do it. And hopefully he's not gonna roll the Jeep again for a second time today. Ah! You need to come a little bit my way. I think you're a little too high on the passenger side. I could be wrong. I think it'll settle. You just need to come a little more passenger. There you go. You need it. No, you're a little too. There you go. You're fine still. Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, you needed your right rear over further.
This is what happened.
You started to pivot?
I started pivoting, and then the rear came up, but then it slipped and went into the hole behind me, and I had to slam it in reverse.
You're fine over here. Completely fine. Yeah. Straight up. That's it. That was literally it.
I used my suck down right there, and it pulled my front end down, and literally the rear just climbed. So I don't know. That was it. That was what
you were trying to do.
That's what I was trying to do. But can you see how if it slips off when you're up there, it just pitched me sideways. The front came off the ground.
If it had pitched you more, I could see how it would feel weird, especially if no one was out here spotting you, telling you that you had nothing in front of you and you would have been fine. That you probably didn't have to hit reverse at all. At which point, but you can see where now he's angled this way. And yeah, he hit reverse and he just went whoop. Rear tire, the driver rear tire went boop, and it just went bloop. That's the rollover story of the Stepchild. I'm sorry the roll itself was not on camera, but that's about as good of a reenactment and all of the evidence and damage and everything that we can show you guys. So anyways, at the end of the day, I am happy that he's safe. A rollover could cause a lot of damage, not just to the vehicle, but to the person. The Jeep at the end, well, let's be honest, the Stepchild's not really replaceable, but you're less so replaceable too, so.
There's plenty of men. You have the DMs.
But there's only one Kevin. There's only one. There's only
I got
one
one
of
thing.
you.
I got one thing to say.
Okay.
Redemption.
So dumb. Anyways, the Jeep, honestly, again, at the end of the day, it's isn't for a full rollover. It's as in good of shape as I could possibly hope for it to be. I'm happy Kevin's safe. It was bound to happen. I'm honestly, at the end of the day, genuinely surprised that it took this long. Just a little miffed that it was on nothing versus all of the
nothing.
all the craziest stuff we've done comparatively,
Okay.
but it happened. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find all your Lite Brite Nation merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. As
Remember,
always,
there's two types of Jeepers. Ones that have rolled and ones that are gonna roll.
ones that haven't rolled yet, but will. Guys, we love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.